wrong for that now. That boy swimming his ass over there. God damn. That boy finna help that boy. Get up there, young boy. Get up there, young buck. Get up there, young buck. Shit, they tore his ass up. They tore his ass up. So the folks can get off and everybody on the super cycle, we just wait. Why these folks the swung on and the jumped on this black man, baby? The crew member that jumped out the Marriott, baby. They whooping ass, baby. Now come up out that boat, baby. They ready to move out. They ready to move out.
You ready to run?
Yeah. What's up?
I was talking a minute ago.
Yeah. Woo! They scared. Look at them. They scared. Woo! Beat their ass. Woo! Oh my God. Woo! That what you get. That what you get. That what you get. Oh, tie her ass up. Ooh, she whooping her ass. She finna put her in the water.
In the water.
In the water. Tie his ass up. Cause y'all were wrong. You some. Boop, boop, Woo! He ran, he jumped in the water. Yeah. Get in their ass. Oh, look at the bras. The bras jumping their ass. Cause y'all were wrong for jumping on that black man like that, baby. What y'all thought was going on? They put their ass in the water, y'all. Boom! Ow! Boom! Ow! Boom! Ow! Boom! Turn their ass up. Baby, please. Ooh. Action. Boom! Ah!
Got conversations about life, got conversations about death, got conversations about building a nation, about gaining knowledge of self. Not here to deceive ya, we'll make you a believer. Come build a nation with conversation, with prophecy and Atiba. Conversations between comrades. And welcome to another episode of Conversation Between Comrades. I'm your host, Brother Ye Rahmati, aka Prophecy. Again, man, I still don't have my comrade with me, and that's just kind of messing with me. You know what I'm saying? Because originally, this show was with my comrade Atiba and myself. That's how it all started. Me and his brother would have some dynamic conversations, just on the phone, and we said, you know what, these conversations should be shared with everybody, and everybody who know his situation. He is actually behind the prison walls, in the belly of the beast. So, it was one of the most unique shows in that aspect, because you had a brother who was actually incarcerated behind bars, who had been able to transform his criminalistic mentality to a new African revolutionary mentality. And it was dynamic, but, things happen, and he not on the show with us right now, but he gonna come back. He will come back. But until then, y'all give him a shout out, give him some love, give him, drop his name in the comments and let him know that you're thinking about the brother, because little things like that mean a whole lot. But doesn't matter if my comrade's not with me right now, because I got y'all with me. And that's all that matters, because y'all my comrades also. And we can do the thing. We can do it together, you know what I'm saying? United we stand, kind of the theme of the show, I guess. I guess you could tell by the intro, the video in which we played in the beginning, which I'm pretty sure you already seen it. Everybody and their mama don't seen it. Everybody talking about it. this past weekend, Montgomery, Alabama, altercation ensued where there was this black dock worker who was telling these group of white folks, look, y'all, I'm sorry, y'all parked in an area, in a space that is reserved for somebody else. This other boat, the Harriet II, needs to dock, so I need y'all to move your boat. And they were just like, nah, we ain't going. We ain't doing it. I'm white. I got privilege. We ain't gonna do it. We ain't going. In fact, you know what? I'm a bow. And they jumped on this brother, man. They jumped on this brother. Y'all saw it on the film. This brother was brutally attacked by these Europeans, these Caucasians. Just beating them down. It was about what, 5, 6 of them, and this one brother, the white woman kicking them too, she getting her licks in too, but I mean, it's a saying in our community, when an altercation comes around, when people get into argument, we like to say, man, you're gonna fuck around and find out. And them white folks, pardon the language, they was fucking around. And when the black people came to the rescue, they found out. So yeah, basically, as y'all saw, black people who were his co-workers, black people who were just out there, all converged and commenced to whoop that trick, as we like to say it down here in Memphis, Tennessee. Very interesting, very interesting dynamic, because what was, to me, what was most beautiful about this whole thing, I mean, first of all, the show of unity amongst black people, that was beautiful. The fact that this brother was getting brutally attacked by these white people, and a whole lot of black people came in to his rescue and showing solidarity, showing unity, showing black unity, and showing what we can do is we collectively get together and fight, use our collective effort to fight against a force that is attacking us. You kind of see how unstoppable we potentially can be. But that wasn't the most beautiful thing about it. To me, the most beautiful thing about this whole thing is the response, the national or maybe even global response that people had to seeing the video. I mean, it sparked a wave of black pride all over these United States of America. I mean, everywhere I go, everybody that I've talked to pretty much said, man, it was good to see that. It fed my soul. I had to give a hand clap to that. And that was, that was one of the reasons why I said, you know what, I'm gonna talk about this on this show, because that's significant. I see that as something significant, because it kind of shows that in this system in America, we've been conditioned and programmed to really be against each other. The disunity that we see in our community is something that is not organic. It's something that has been placed upon us through years and years, decades and decades, centuries and centuries of programming in a system that tells you that you are worse than a human being, that you are less than a human being, that you're in our Constitution, we can't even give you full representation as a human being as far as voting purposes. You have to be only 3/5 of a person. So we have been programmed to really hate ourselves, and by extension, hate the people who look like us, the people who reflect us, our image. So when we see individuals who reflect our images, we've been designed to go against. We've been programmed not to support each other. We've been programmed to go against each other. We've been programmed to naturally be distrustful of each other. So when this happened in Mobile, Alabama, and you saw unity amongst black people, it was like it was feeding our soul. It was like, okay, that's what I've been missing. That was it. It was like you've been slowly dying of dehydration, but you don't know it. You don't realize you've been dying of dehydration. You didn't realize that. But then all of a sudden, You get a nice big glass of water and you drinking it and you like, whoa, I've been missing that. That's what I've been needing. See, that show of unity. That's something we've been missing. That's been a part of a whole this really been inside of us because we've been in this system of white supremacy for so long. We've been in this system of exploitation for so long. And we've been conditioned and programmed to hate each other, to hate yourself for so long. So when you see Black people getting together and unite, it's like it sparks something in you. It connects within you. And that's what you're seeing all over America. Why you seeing so many people just so happy, so proud? I've been seeing young brothers who talking about things like, man, this is gonna be the spark that unites us, that puts us together. You know, I don't know. I hope so. Also, that'd be great. But it just shows that we in America, Black people in America, New African people in America, have been so far damaged and so need of being healed. When something comes along like that, we just respond to it. We respond to it. And everybody who's joining the program, I want to say, what's up to y'all? Or make sure y'all drop a comment so I can acknowledge y'all and we can have this conversation back and forth with each other. Amun Ra, how you doing? Free the land to you. Also, checking in from YouTube. What's up? And everybody else out there, you know, drop a comment and we can have a back and forth. Tell me what you think of the video, you know, because everything I've heard pretty much the same thing from everybody that I've talked to. You know, it was like a sense of pride, a sense of happiness. And it really wasn't about the fight. It was not about the fight. It was about the unity amongst Black people. Black men, women, all coming together to defend this brother who was being attacked. It was about the unity. Andrea Christina Martez, how you doing? You made the mistake number one, rule number one that I got, and I'm gonna let you get a pass with it, Queen. I'm gonna let you get a pass with it, but you ought to know because you've been on the show before. Never say my whole name, even though it's on Facebook, you know. But hey, how you doing? But you can call me Prophecy. You can call me my African name, Yera. But I don't really like the Kevin Gary part. You know what I'm saying? I kind of, you know, when I was making my Facebook profile, they said I tried to just put Prophecy on it, and it was like, no, you can't use that. You got to use your real name, and you know that's how I got Kevin Prophecy Gary. But that's all right. Hey, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you checking in again. But yeah, you know, like I said, y'all drop a comment so we can have this conversation back and forth with each other. But yeah, most people really responded to the unity and the potential of that, you know, because a lot of times we haven't really seen that, you know. We've been, you know, told and programmed and made to believe that we can't get along, that we can't do all of these things. It just came up when I typed Prophecy. I know they do it like that. I understand. I'm just messing with you, really. I'm just messing with you. But yeah, we've been trained and conditioned and programmed to believe that we can't unite, that we can't get together, that we can't do for self. We can't do all of these things. We had, you know, it's so much negativity that has been programmed on us. That's why a lot of times when I see so-called conscious people or people who's actually trying to do good, when they dwell on the negativity that goes on in our community, I kind of check it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, we can't perpetuate all of the negative aspects in our community. We know they're there. We can explain them. We can break them down, and we can provide solutions. But we don't need to just continue to perpetuate them. You know, I know it's a lot of crime in our community. It's a lot of violence in our community. It's a lot of negative things that you can talk about. But instead of saying, man, Black people, we just can't get together. We can't do this. We just killing each other. Instead of doing that, you know, I would suggest to anyone to instead offer like solutions. Analyze where this behavior comes from. Break down the system, how the system plays a part in creating an environment where crime thrives, where crime grows, where crime is like a flame that has been fanned by a system of exploitation and oppression. Break that down. And then let's provide solutions for the people, because I think that's more helpful. That will benefit us more than just complaining about the problem. But like I said, we're talking about this video, and it's going viral. And to me, like I said, it just shows how we are desperately wanting to connect and unite and really flip this situation that we find ourselves in, that we've been in for the last 400 plus years. Is really a need, something within us, because everybody's not politically educated. Everybody's not conscious. A lot of us are deep within the programming of the system, the mainstream system. A lot of us are heavily indoctrinated into that still. A lot of us are. But damn near all of us feel within our hearts and our soul, whatever you want to call it, that there's something wrong. This ain't right. That's why when I did the show talking about they cloned Tyrone, because that resonated with a lot of people, because something inside of us is telling us that there's something going wrong with the world. It's something wrong in our community. It ain't supposed to be like that. And it does not feel natural. It does not feel organic. It didn't feel like it just sprung up naturally, and it didn't. That's why Malcolm said history should be the best qualifier of our research, because when you study history, you understand how the situation got to the point where it is today. It's clear. Ghettos and hoods and projects that came about systematically. It didn't just have a group of people say, hey, you know what? Let's go to the worst communities possible, communities that have no resources, and let's just screw them up. No. That happened systematically through things called like redlining. Once upon a time, we had beautiful communities. Many communities that are so-called slums and meccas for violence today. Many of these communities, once upon a time, were mecca for Black excellence. I used to live in one, Orange Mound, Tennessee. Home of 8 Ball and MJG, Pip Tight. Now, when people think of Orange Mound, people think of crime, gangs, violence, drugs, all of these negative things. But it didn't start out like that. That's not how it started out. Orange Mound was one of the first. Many people say it is the first. I don't know. I can't verify or deny it. But I will say it's definitely one of the first Black communities created by and for Black people. And it had a certain level of independence, a certain level of autonomy. And it was a mecca for Black entrepreneurship, for Black land ownership, for Black professionals. This was Orange Mound, Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee. But what happened? That's what we got to discuss. Segregation happened. And when segregation happened, a lot of our businesses closed down, because a lot of us wanted to go with the white folks, because we've been trained and conditioned that white is right and Black get back. A lot of y'all older people remember that. It was actually, I think people used to sing that in the song. If you're white, you're right. If you're Black, get back. But so the conditions and the negative things that you find in our community is not there by accident. It's not something that, just abracadabra appeared overnight. It was something that happened in a very systemic, well-planned way. And if you study history, you can see exactly how we got from point A to point B. Straight line, boom. We can see it. But, if you study that, you can also see where there is opportunity to flip this around, to change the whole dynamic, to change it all around. You can see how we can do that. And that's one thing we always advocate here at NABA, New African Broadcast Association, as well as the New African Independence Movement, as well as, everything New African. We say, look, we have to take control over all of the systems and institutions in our community. Now, that ain't even it's a big task, but it's not impossible. It's a long way from being impossible. A long way from being impossible. That is very doable, especially with the resources that we have at our hands today. I see Sama just joined the show. How you doing? Free the land to you, comrade. Always good to hear from our president, the president of the Republic of New Africa. I feel like such a dope individual. I got the president to just be checking into my show. I must be fly. Anyway, but like I said, like I was saying, these conditions that we find in our community, they're not organic. They didn't happen just by accident. They were planned, systematically done through this system of exploitation more than two reasons, but these two reasons I'll give. One, to make sure that they continue to exploit us, because that's the very reason we are in this system today. I'm talking about African people. African people were put in a system of then slavery, chattel slavery, now capitalism, in order to be exploited, in order to be a form of cheap labor. Now we are the ultimate consumer, because we just give them their money, give it to them. And they utilize us for the labor force in the prison industrial complex. They use our neighborhoods for dumping grounds for dangerous chemicals, which lead to the poisoning of the water, the land, and everything else in our community. What happened in Flint, not unique to Flint. We have same situation, same type of issues going on right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Same issues going on in Jackson, Tennessee. Same thing. So let me tie this back to the video. Because I'm kind of getting off track, but I'm not really. People really celebrated this video and were really happy about seeing these Black people get together, because it was a show of unity that we're not accustomed to just seeing a lot of, because they definitely don't promote that on mainstream media. Hollywood don't celebrate Black unity. They promote Black disunity. They try to put the man against the woman, the young against the old, everything you want to name, they try to, divide us with. But so when we saw this video, it activated something within us, something that they tried to kill, something that they've been actively trying to kill for 400 years. That spirit of togetherness, that spirit of unity, that spirit that says, you know what, if collectively we join forces, we can defeat any enemy that comes our way. So what I will say about this video, and I won't want to say what's up to my brother, Ro Jamu. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Tell me what you think about that video. About, you know what I'm saying? Them white folks jumping that Black man, and then Black superheroes, including Aquaman and the rest of the crew coming to his rescue. But anyway, dang, where was I? I lost my thought. I'm getting old. But like I said, we were happy and we were proud because they have been actively trying to eradicate any fight against the system, any need for unity, and all of these things that are direct threat to this system of oppression and exploitation. They're trying to get that out of us. And they've been trying to do that for over 400 years. And, during the period of enslavement. That's the reason for the brutality. That's the reason for the lynchings. Because you want to get rid of a potential threat. You want to get rid of a potential threat. And you have to understand that Black people in America is the biggest threat to this system. It's the biggest threat to this system because we have been wrong for over 400 years. Been wrong for over 400 years. So when we saw this unity, it was like it was feeding something that we were missing. Now, the real question is, what do we do with that? Do we just let this be one moment where we feel good? We say, "Yay, I feel good. That's damn right. Whoop their ass," you know? Or do we utilize this momentum and try to carry it forward? Because I'm not, really big on just this one-off event type of thing, a good feel-good moment, and then we go back as business as usual. I'm all for, you know what? Let's take this thing that has some momentum and let's start a movement behind it. Or give the movements that are already started more momentum or push forward. That's how I think in all things. The reason why I talked about they cloned Tyrone, because I'm like, you know what? There's an opportunity to take something that a lot of people into, a lot of people enjoying, is making a lot of people think. Let's carry it forward. So I'm big on that. So I'm just saying, we all enjoyed the unity of these Black men and women joining together to fight against these racist European people who want to beat on this brother for doing his job. We all enjoyed that. We all like seeing that. Well, what I'm saying is, why don't we just keep that same energy? Keep that same energy going. Anytime anybody attacks us, let's utilize that same energy and attack them back, push them out of our community. Because one thing you have to understand, that we are being attacked on all levels, all of us. The thing about what happened down in Mobile, Alabama, it was clear. It was obvious. Everybody could see it. It was the perfect storm. You didn't have to analyze it. You didn't have to have any historical perspective. You didn't have to be conscious. You didn't have to be politically aware. You just saw it. A man trying to do his job. Most of the people who was looking at it were the people who were on the ship that was trying to be, they was trying to park or be boarded or whatever you want to call it. But they was on the ship and they was looking at it like saying, "Dude, why don't y'all just move?" It was even a part they started chanting Ludacris, "Move, get out the way." I thought that was fun. I think the commentary on that video was awesome. They did a great job on it. But what I'm saying is, we can keep that same energy going. Because look, we are being attacked every single day on all aspects, from all angles. We are getting attacked with the food we eat. We're getting attacked. Like I said, you look at the infrastructure in communities of color, Black and brown communities. They don't get the money that should be allocated, just like in Jackson. They had money allocated to them, but they wasn't getting it, so they couldn't rebuild their infrastructure. So, boom, they have a big storm. They can't even drink any water. They can't drink any water. See, Andrea, he said, "I live in New Mexico. We get the nuclear waste." Damn, that's jacked up. That is jacked up. Yeah, and y'all do. You right about that. You are absolutely right about that. Ro Jamu, you say it was overdue and well needed. And I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Definitely overdue. Definitely well needed. Definitely well needed. Andrea said the Chicano feels that we've been oppressed since 1492. And I feel where you coming from. Definitely. One thing is I study more about the Chicano movement. And the beautiful thing about it is we have so many similarities. You know, because when we first started the conversation between comrades and all that, I saw a whole lot of Chicano people, and I didn't even know what to call you. You know, I was like, Hispanic. Nope, you're not supposed to say that. Latino. That, you know, I didn't even know. So I learned a lot. You know, I didn't even know the term Chicano. But yeah, it when I started to research and started to listen to all of the advocates and what you're trying to go and trying to get land, you know, just like us, a free ass land, no doubt. And I was like, damn, y'all talk the same language as we do. Y'all talk about the colonizer, the oppressor, this system of white supremacy. You know, and it was just canning that our struggles are the same struggle. And we shouldn't get that mixed up. We shouldn't get twisted, you know, anything about that twisted. So yeah, I'm definitely understand where you're coming from when you say you feel that y'all been oppressed too. We all have been oppressed by the same beast, the same enemy, the same oppressor. So we gotta unite and band together in order to make sure we get this monkey off our back. Just like we did down in Mobile, that's how we have to do with everything. We got to do everything like that. So when they coming in our community and they attacking our schools, well, not even our school, because we can't even say them their school. When they're saying we can't even study our history in school. They just passed a law in Florida. Just passed a law in Florida saying that it is now required in their schools to teach that Black people gain a benefit from slavery. It was beneficial. And let me explain. They said it was beneficial because Black people learned skills that helped them out. This is the type of BS that they teaching in the school system. That's why it is necessary that we create our own school system. Because we can complain about how bad and what they ain't teaching us. First of all, they ain't never taught us our real history. None of the real history. Nobody except this distorted version of European hegemony. Manifest destiny. It's the God's destiny for the white man to dominate and oppress and rape everybody else and steal their wealth and exploit them. That's what they teach in school. That's what I learned. You know, it wasn't worded in that way. They were just talking about the glories of colonization. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because like in high school, that's when I first became aware, first became conscious. And I first started learning about what colonization really was, because I had, you know, my understanding of colonization was from this European bare mouth history teacher called Mr. Hill. They called him bare mouth because he didn't have any front teeth. That's what we used to call him, bare mouth. But man, he was teaching us some garbage, how great colonization was, and the colonizers did such great things by civilizing these uncivilized indigenous people and taking these heathens out of Africa and that's what I was taught. That's what I was taught. Now I'm getting up there in age and stuff like that, but I ain't that damn old. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to high school in 1932, 1992. But, you know, anyway. Ro, you said that feeling of knowing your folks got your back is priceless. Comrade, you said something right there, bro. That's for real. It's nothing like knowing that if some stuff pop off, or if I'm in trouble or whatever it is, I got somebody who got me. If I fall, it's somebody that'll catch me. That's real talk. That is real talk. I feel you on that, comrade. What's up, Saria? Hey, cuz. What's up, cuz? That's my cousin right there. The beautiful Saria Campbell. How you doing? Hey, I need to come down there and go fishing with you and Doug, man, because I need a spot down in Mississippi where I can get that good fishing. I'm a country dude. I like to be on that water. So yeah, man, Saria, hit me up, holler at me, man. Holler at me. And tell Jason I said, what's up? Yeah, Rogan said they tried hard to knock the spunk out. But when our folks know somebody got their back, they with whatever. Exactly why we need a nation. And I'm with you on that. 100%. 100%. We need to do for self. We need to have our own. We need to. It's a brother by the name of Baba Amin. He's the founder of a school, independent black school, independent New African school called the Uhuru Academy. If you don't know this brother, y'all need to get to know this brother. We had him on the show a few months back, and he's doing podcasts now. He does a podcast called Breaking the Algorithm. This brother awesome. This is who I go to when I look, when I want to get perspective. Anytime I see this brother on, I got to catch him. So if y'all get an opportunity, Breaking the Algorithm, brother Amin, Baba Amin, he called himself Baba Amin. Yeah, that's right. I'll probably write a post or share it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start broadcasting his podcast on the Naba Network because this brother is dope. I've broadcast some of his stuff before. So if y'all get opportunity to see this brother, check him out. But the reason I brought him up because he quoted the way you defeat racism or deal with racism is you stop depending on the racist. And I was like, damn, that's so simple but so profound. We always complain and we talk about racism and how how it's bad and how all of these things, but yet we still go to the racist schools. We still go to the racist grocery stores. We still put our money in the racist bank. We still go to the racist hospitals. We go through all of these systems that are owned and controlled by the racists. And you wonder why we can't get rid of racism, because we are dependent on the racists. So if you want to break free of the racism, then we have to stop being dependent on the racists. And we have to start creating the institutions that feed our lives, that control our lives. We got to be able to do that. If we can't do that, then we're going to be, at the mercy of somebody who can. And right now, the individuals who have control over the resources and the institutions and the systems are the same people who have been benefiting from our exploitation for the last 400 years. So they have no incentive to change. Not for real change. They have an incentive to give the appearance of change. And that incentive of giving the appearance of change is because in a minute, Black people, Chicano people are going to outnumber them. And if we thinking right and unite against this common enemy we have, then you know what? Oh, snap. They are outnumbered. They are already outnumbered globally by far. European people are a global minority by a long way. But they will very soon be a minority within the United States of America. So, I had a point, man. I'm getting so old. I am really, really getting so old. See, you agree, Andrea and Ro. You said facts. Okay, thank you. Andrea said that's exactly what they say about us natives. And I don't even remember what we was talking about. That they tamed. Oh, okay. They tamed the savages. Yep. That's what they said. And that's part of the propaganda machine. That's part of their propaganda machine. That's the very reason I said, you know what? Let me create NABA. Let me create this. And let's start some programming that will counter all of their propaganda. You know, it's not big like CNN or CSBN, whatever those, you know, those stations, Fox News. But we have to control the narrative. We have to be able to tell our own story, because anytime the lion tells the story, then the prey, the deer, or whatever they eat, antelope, they're gonna be demonized. They're gonna say, well, you know what? It was that deer's fault that it got ate. It was his fault. They were bad deer. But anyway, Stephen Biko Muhammad, how you doing, brother? Good to see you checking in. As always, free the land, comrades. Free the land to you by any means necessary. No doubt. Let me see. I think we already outnumber them, but they count us as white, even though we reject. That's a good point. That is a good point, and that is something that we actually got to look out for, because that's one of the tricks of the trade that they will do. Because they'll be like, oh, okay, we have Chicano population, even though they ain't calling y'all Chicano, but they say we got this Chicano population increasing, so we need to lump as many of them as possible with us to increase our population. They will do that. They do that in the prison system. They do that in the prison system. If there are areas where there are prisons, they count the prisoners as part of their general population so they can get more funding from the government. Even though these inmates have absolutely no rights, and many of them not even from their place. You know, they've just been housed there, imprisoned there, exploited there. And this whole system is about exploitation, figuring a way to exploit individuals in anything, in any and all aspects. That's why we got to be able to, we gotta study, and we have to be properly educated. And we have to understand what this system is and how it works and how it operates. Because if you don't, then we could just turn around, move somewhere else, or gain our own independence, hold the land, and we will continue the same system, and we will become colonizers of our own people. We become oppressors of our own people. This happened in Liberia in the 1800s, because there was this experiment where they sent some, freed African people in America to Liberia. This was when slavery was still going on, but they sent a group of Black people to Liberia and basically set up like an American colony ran by Black people. And the Black people there being indoctrinated into the same Americanism, did the same thing that white people did to us. They did to the indigenous people in Liberia. Causes a whole lot of mess, because ultimately the people there rejected that and they fall back. It didn't turn out that well. So yeah. So, with what happened with, this feel good moment we have, I'm just encouraging everybody, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy whenever anybody attacks us in any level, not just when somebody jumping on an innocent brother, but when they attack us politically, when they attack us in the streets with their injustice system, when they attack us with these fools, when they attack us trying to dump nuclear waste and chemical waste in our neighborhoods, in our community. I remember, man, we had to struggle just so they wouldn't create a dump site right next to an elementary school in Fraser, Tennessee. Fraser, that's a Black community, a community that has been exploited for years, have a long history of exploitation in this system in Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm like, man, you actually got to fight. You have to go down to have conference and meetings and protests so you won't put a dumping ground next to an elementary school? I don't even need to just start talking about what they did in Westwood. The long history of environmental racism against our people in Westwood. You had people who babies are being born with cancer. There's an area in Memphis, a certain area code, that for the longest, I don't know if it's still that way, but for the longest that I can remember, had the highest rate of infant mortality rate in America. Babies just dying. And then they want to say stuff like, oh, well, people are just stressed. I get, what I'm saying? Those factors lead into that. But damn, y'all, people stressed everywhere. Why are these particular people in this particular area code have so many babies dying for no reason? And you do the research, you find that, man, it's been companies who had lawsuits, who was dumping chemical waste in lakes, contaminating the water. And for years and years and years, people just coming down with cancer. It was cancer cluster and people dying and all type of madness happening in this community. Finna get out of here, Ro. Good. I'm good. It's good to hear from you, comrade, man. Good to hear from you. Always. As always. So, like I said, let's keep that same energy, y'all. Keep the same energy. When they want to come to our community with any kind of BS that exploits our community, exploits our people, let's gang up on them. Let's jump in the water, swim in, all in. Matter of fact, let's keep that energy on everything we do. Everything. Baba Amin talked about this. And I wish I had him on the show, because he's a lot more eloquent than I am at expressing, things. Brother's phenomenal, But like the brother dived in to go support and defend his brother. Let's dive in against this system of oppression. Let's dive head in to create our own schools. And when we create our own schools, let's support them. In Memphis, Tennessee, we had a school called the Marcus Garvey Institution and Teaching Academy. Great school. My son went there until it fell apart. Not to get into everything that happened, but ultimately, the bottom line was they didn't have the resources to sustain themselves. And it led to people trying to do different things and disagreements and ultimately falling apart. But the truth is, they did not have the resources. So let's dive in head first to support those things that support us, that support our community, that support our people. Let's collectively build. There are individuals who have gardens and, produce food and farms that a lot of times we don't even know exists. Let's support them people. Let's grow our own food. Let's create our own grocery stores. I see Freedom Power has jumped in. Free the Land. Can y'all start the program all over? I just tuned in late. Just kidding. I totally agree with what little I've heard. Definitely. Salute. Definitely. Yeah, man, comrade, definitely. Susan Rogers, hey, how you doing? I appreciate you checking. Both of y'all checking in. You want me to start the program over? I'm gonna start the program over because freedom, power, freedom. You got that much power. We gonna start the program all over for freedom, power. Got
conversations about life, got conversations about death, got conversations about building a nation, about gaining knowledge of self. Not here to deceive ya, we'll make you a believer. Come build a nation with conversation, with prophecy and Atiba. Conversations between comrades.
Yep. Now I'm just messing with y'all. I'm just messing with you, Freedom Power. But yeah, I don't know if that'll help you out, help you feel like that we started the program over. But we've been talking about that fight, the brawl on the river with Aquaman and them came to the rescue of the brother, because they was like, the brother was like, hey man, can y'all like move y'all stuff? Can you move your boat? You know what I'm saying? We got the Harriet too, need to dock. You know what I'm saying? Y'all in the way. You know, white folks like, no, nigga, we ain't moving nothing. We don't listen to you, you nigger. And he was like, yo, what's up with that? And he started fighting, and they started jumping on them and beating them up. And then next thing you know, Black Power just activated, you know what I'm saying? And it was like Uhuru Sasa, in the spirit of the ancestors just came in. And speaking of the spirit of the ancestors, since we own that, that particular location where the brawl on the riverboat took place, is actually really significant. It's really historic, because that's like one of the biggest docks in Alabama. We're really in America as far as slave ports. They brought enslaved Africans to that port where you had that big brawl, that big fight. And our brothers and sisters were sold. And all up that, that block, that strip, you had auctions. I mean, it was so big they had to buy a warehouse and house all of our ancestors. So that was a very historic place that happened. And as you saw from the arrogance of these European people, it's obvious that white supremacist spirit is alive and well within them. Because, I mean, one of the reasons why we got so much support and love off this particular video when them brothers came and beat the hell out of them white folks, one reason for that, it was such a positive response, is because these white folks were so arrogant and so bold, so just, no, I don't recognize your authority. I don't care if you work here. I don't care if they're supposed to be documented. I don't care if the area in which I am occupied is already reserved for somebody else. I don't give a damn, because I'm white and I got privilege. Because if you look at them videos, man, it was a whole lot of black people there. A whole lot of black people. It wasn't like they had the numbers, but they were so arrogant that they just jumped this man in an area with all those black people. And they just knew wasn't nobody coming to save him. Well, you are wrong. So, hey. But everybody out there, if you have not checked in so far and dropped a comment, please do so. And hit that like button. It helps us in some kind of way. I don't know. Maybe with an algorithm or something. But let me see. One white lady said, I have to respect her. I was like, funk that. I'm not sure which white lady you're talking about. I noticed, like, when the fight first started, actually, with the brother, the dock worker, it was actually a white dude with him also. And he was, trying to help out a little bit. And he got hit like maybe one or twice. And he was like, okay, I'm gone. And then they just ganged up on that brother. But yeah, man. So let's keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep that same energy within our own lives, in our own community. Let's all of the things that are holding us back, all of the things that are obstacles is preventing us from being the best representation of ourselves and our families and our lives. let's dive in like Aquaman did. Dive in and attack it. Let's gang up on it so we can become the best versions of ourselves. Let me see, got some more comments. It says, I'm glad that the Alabama riverfront Tea Party occurred in the month of Black August. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, okay. Which is the month of the Nat Turner insurrection in the Haiti's War of Liberation. Amon Ra, thank you for mentioning that, because that was like the perfect way to kick off Black August. Because Black August has always been a time of not only reflection and study and training and strategizing, but a time to celebrate our resistance movement. That's what Black August is. And if you're not familiar with Black August, you need to familiarize yourself with it. It's something, it was something that was started in the prison system, and it expanded and grew out. But it started with these two brothers named Jonathan and George Jackson. George Jackson was the co-founder of the Black Guerrilla family. Great writer, brilliant brother, strong revolutionary, and his brothers tried to liberate him from the system, and he was assassinated, murdered during that time, during that attempt. And in the month of August, George was murdered 1 year after that, in the month of August. So in the prison system, in the prison, the prisoners started, doing things to commemorate the struggle when these brothers sacrificed, and it grew out of that. And it's just always been a time that we celebrate the spirit of resistance. And just like my brother Amon Ra said, there have been several things that happened in the month of August that are great examples of the resistance in the liberation movement. Like you said, the Haiti's War. You have Nat Turner's rebellion, the birth of Marcus Garvey. You had the RNA 11, and we're actually about to do something on the RNA 11. I hope we're able to get it in time. But a lot of people don't know the story behind the RNA 11. But it's a lot of stories, a lot of history. This you will never find in the history book, not in their history book. But it's a lot of history that is phenomenal. It's amazing. It's like an action movie, like real heroes. And what happened with the RNA 11? That's another one. So y'all stay tuned, because we got something we're working on with that. So yeah, it's Black August. So learn about it. Put the principles into action. Because it's an important time, and everything that we have that we can use to promote that will progress our movement and create a strong culture of resistance and building and doing for ourselves. We need to support that to the fullest. And Black August is one of those things. So thank you, Woman Rock. Thank you. Let me see. There was a high ancestral energy there that day. Just a few hours before everything went down, there was a visual to the ancestors right there in that space by like 30 sisters who dedicated flowers to the ancestors that lost their lives and were traded in the slave trade. And that's absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I had forgot about that. Yeah. Shortly before the whole thing brawl went down, they had this ceremony right there. Basically memorializing and reflecting and giving and honoring all of the victims of the slave trade, especially the ones who were right there at that port. Interesting fact about Alabama: the last slave ship that they came to America was actually recently found off the shore in Alabama. I don't know if it's that particular port, but it was in Alabama. It's called the Carlito or something like that. It was found by an organization called Diving with a Purpose, I believe. It was a group of black divers, and they go out uncovering sunken like slave ships and all of this type of stuff. But it's an interesting account of that because the history of that ship is documented. It's a brother. Matter of fact, he was the last person that came from a slave ship. He was alive when, the Civil War was over, and they interviewed a lot of formerly enslaved Africans. He was one, and he talked about how they had to be smuggled in because this ship sailed in like 1857, I believe. You have to realize the slave trade was abolished in 1808, January 1st, 1808. But they continued the slave trade secretly. It just went underground. And what they had to do was they had to sneak the enslaved brothers and sisters in through the swamp. So they said they made them go through the swamp, and they had to spend the night in alligator infested water, and it was how dangerous it was. And he told, all about these things. So it's an interesting history there in Alabama. So thank you for that, brother. Freedom Power. I had forgot about that, definitely. So yeah, man. But like I said, keep that same energy. Let's continue the same energy in everything we do. And when you're looking into our community and people ain't following the code, and I'm talking about a righteous code. I'm not just talking about a street code. I'm talking about a code that's going to liberate and uplift your community. We ain't following principles. Let's attack that. When we are displaying self-destructive behavior, let's attack that. Let's collectively attack that. Be like, nah, brother, we don't do that. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't disrespect women like that. I'm sorry, brother. No, sister. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So let's hold ourselves to a higher level of accountability, unless anybody who comes into our community with intentions of harming us in any type of way, whether that is physically coming into our community or coming into our community with political power, with laws that damage our people, or anything. This food that is contaminated with all type of things that's causing cancer. This medical industry that cares more about keeping you sick than actually getting you better. All attacks, all threats that come against our people, we should collectively band together and attack and fight back. Definitely. I think that's the message that we should gain from what happened in Montgomery. Fight back. Fight back. Fight back. And the strongest way you fight back ain't necessarily, with your fists like that. Collectively, our unity is powerful. It's powerful. That fight was a beautiful metaphor for the potential that our people have. When we are together, working collectively with one goal, one focus, they can't stop us. We can knock the whole damn system of oppression in the water, just like that white woman that they threw in the water. We can grab the long chills of liberation and knock their ass over the head with them. I'm ready. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. But I've been on this jump for about an hour now. I think it's about time for me to go handle some other business that we gotta take care of. One initiative that we're starting, and this is an initiative that I'm over. We're creating something called the Edible Garden right here in Ida B. Wells. It's an elder who has some land, just needs some help with it, is not doing really anything with it. So we, the Comrades, got together and said, we're going to partner with you. We're going to help develop it and help cultivate it. And we're going to create like this beautiful concept, because I'm a country dude. I'm from Mississippi. I know you can tell in my voice. but I like to grow stuff. You know, I like farming. I like creating gardens. You know, if that's in the country or the city, I don't care. Let me see some land. I grew a garden on top of concrete before. I just like doing it. Matter of fact, I've learned that I have to do a certain amount of that each year, and if I don't, I just don't feel right. I don't. It's like a therapy for me. But we're doing this initiative called the Ida Webb's Edible Garden, our edible park. I'm sorry, where we're basically taking this land and we're gonna create this beautiful design for a garden for it, and we're gonna have a stage up, a fire pit set up, a area for the children to play, and we're gonna have a lot of events there as well as growing food. We're gonna use it for our rites of passage program. We're gonna have training there. And that's just the start. You know, it's like the potential is unlimited because there's a lot of land with a lot of potential there. So y'all will be hearing about that initiative. We might even reach out to the community and say, "Oh, can y'all help us with it? You know, what can you help us with? You know, your physical presence. If you down here, can you donate something so we can, you know, we can help do this?" But yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're doing, and the plan is to have everything developed so by next spring we can have some big grand opening, or you know, whatever the case may be. Let me see. Our plants didn't have a chance this year. Hottest summer in a while. Okay, your plants didn't grow. What kind of thing are you growing? Do you have like a garden or like maybe a container garden, or you have a garden on land? So what you got going on, Andrea? Like I said, I love to plant. I love to grow stuff. Just kind of who I am. So I know I asked a question and I'm about to get up out of here, so I might not even be here for the answer. But like I said, man, I've enjoyed talking to everybody. And thank you for conversing with me. Thank y'all for being here. And I'm trying to, you know, keep this thing going until my comrade Atiba gets back. It get kind of difficult because, you know, I miss my brother. You know what I'm saying? And we always have such good times. So, you know, but hey, we still gonna do what we gonna do. You know, we still gonna make it happen. You know, long as there's injustice, a system that is based on the exploitation of our people, then there's gonna be a need for us to do what we do, to bring about the liberation of our people, to fight for the liberation of our people until we win the war. Because make no mistake, we are at war. We've been at war for hundreds and hundreds of years. And one of the biggest war tactics that they have waged against us was a propaganda war tactic to make us believe that we're not at war anymore. So, you know. See, Andrea, you was growing some tomatoes, some squash, all kind of stuff. I hear you. I actually had a container garden. I worked with a couple of different gardens. But on my porch, I had some squash, some corn, some beans, all in containers. My first time doing it, it turned out pretty good. It wasn't bad, you know. My other garden, I had all that stuff and some tomatoes, eggplants, watermelon, cucumbers, some melons, some cantaloupe, and it did phenomenal. So that's what. So, you know, the moral of that story is, man, y'all grow your own food. Let's grow our own food. So one, we can provide healthy food for our people, and we can, you know, kind of break this dependency on the Krogers and the Walmarts and all of these major corporations that don't really give a damn about us, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, fam. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me on this program. I'm gonna see y'all again next week, tomorrow, Y'all make sure y'all check out Millie Queen's show, The Truth and Power Corner. I think she got some phenomenal guests on of the queens. I think the daughters of the revolution. Queen's sister got a wonderful documentary that was actually premiered at Nation Day down in South Carolina this year, and she's gonna be on Melly Queen's show, so that should be pretty awesome. But I'm about to go and get out of here, fam. I think I'm gonna get out of here. So I love y'all. See y'all again next week. Free the land.
Beat that Oh my God! He's going to jail. That's why they just get him a failure. Oh my God! Oh my God!